seems that we're experiencing some technical difficulties. GoTo did an update on us that we were not expecting, so please bear with us just a few minutes.
Um, can you guys hear me? Audio only. Okay. Whew. So I appreciate you guys hanging out for a brief moment. Uh, yeah. Go to just rolled it out. Hold on, I'm trying to share my screen. I gotta figure this part out now. Share screen. I gotta figure out which one I'm sharing. Oh my God. Okay. Whew. So can you guys now hear me and see my screen? It should say this is not SEO, this is not marketing service. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I'm gonna like get through this. Can you guys like see each other's chat? Like I don't even know how this thing works. Or can you only see like your chat? I don't really even understand what's going on here. Um, I don't know what the questions are. Staff. Okay. Only see only our chat. Okay, so you guys can only see your own chat. Weird. Um, Katie, okay, there's a chat. Okay, then there's a questions. Okay, I'm just getting my bearings with me real quick. Don't don't mind me. But anyways, I'm glad that we were actually able to figure that out. I had to close it down and open it back up in order for it to work. Um, and I still do not know how to use this system whatsoever. So you're just gonna have to bear with me on this. I mean, it's totally different look, but I think it has the same kind of stuff and added stuff. It's just not the same. Yeah, I'm still trying to. Oh. Uh, 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 um, I don't even know how this question thing works, so I'm trying to figure out if there's a different place. There's a little hand raised. I don't know what that means. Um, wow, interesting. Okay. Well, anyways, I guess we'll just get going and figure this out as we go, and go from there. Kind of just threw me off on the thing. Well, anyways, welcome to the AI Search Audit kickoff call. I'm throwing through a little bit of a loop here. In today's training, basically, I'm going to kind of walk you guys through like how to basically sell this, and all that type of stuff, and then I'll be able to answer your questions. I'll also have some resources for you guys. I've got some internal SOPs for you, some scripts, all kinds of different things like that that will help you. So I'll go through this presentation, and then I'll start answering your guys' questions at the end. And bear with us. I'm making, like, I know there was a lot of requests for some things in the software, and so we're making adjustments and tweaks to it. And if something is broken, just let us know. We can fix it relatively quickly, because we're moving extremely rapidly. So I know that we try and do a top to bottom test when we make major changes, and so we have not done that since I rolled out a bunch of updates this morning. So there might be a few little missing things or something that's thrown in here. I don't know. But anyways, so let's just go through this, get through this as quickly as we can. So I just really want to make you guys understand, this is not SEO. This is not a marketing service. This is how you basically expose where businesses are losing customers before anything else really even matters. And so today I'm going to show you how to basically turn a single report into, $2,000 to $5,000 up front, and then minimum $9.97 a month without selling SEO, ads, or websites. Super simple. More importantly, how to make businesses feel the problem so they actually ask you to fix it. Most agencies basically are focused on traffic, ranking, websites, ads, but something's changed, obviously. We're very well aware of that. Customers are no longer just searching on Google. Um, and they're asking ChatGPT, Google AI, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, all these different types of things. You even have the Google overviews that are top depending on the search term. So there's just things that are going differently, and we are recording this. Hopefully it works. It says it's recording, but we'll go from there. And when they search, um, basically the old way, on Google, they got options, right? The new way is they get answers. So that's like a complete shift. And obviously you guys are aware of that because of the presentation, the webinar, and all that stuff that we went over, which means you're either included or you flat out don't exist. Because they doesn't randomly come up like Google search where you can keep going, going, going. It's just, you're either there or you're not. There's no in between. So here's what's happening right now. This is kind of weird because businesses, I'm still continually testing this, and it's crazy. Some days, one day they show up, and they disappear the next. And I've really been testing this out, mainly really with my daughter's business, and yeah, it's just very strange. I know how to fix it, but it's obviously taking some time. So we're working on that and working through the roadmap on all those types of things. But he still gets traffic from there, which is nice. It's really about no consistency, which is strange. But some of the businesses I do know show up all the time. And when I go and really look into it, obviously they've just got a massive brand identity, a massive footprint, and all that type of stuff, reviews, the whole nine. So it's pretty obvious what you need to do, right? Because customers don't try again, right? They just pick someone else. The intent, this is happening before you basically have the SEO, the ads, the websites, all that type of stuff. So the traffic isn't really the problem. Visibility before the click is, right? Okay, we need to show the AI what it is. So if you're not consistently chosen, nothing really else matters, right? Because this isn't like the same as like Google and all those types of things. So agencies are missing a layer basically of what it's all coming down to. A layer before all of the marketing, right? Before the SEO, before the ads, before the website. And the layer is AI understanding the business, right? That's like the important thing. And an entity confidence, right? A brand identity. AI doesn't rank websites, we know that. It selects businesses, basically it kind of trusts from their model that they are learning. And the trust, comes from structured data, authority, consistency, fresh signals. And authority is I like to refer to almost as brand identity, right? If the more brand identity you have out there, the more authority you're going to get, like mentioned specifically of the business itself. If those are weak, AI hesitates, really. And when AI hesitates, you basically disappear because it wants to give, again, the best results, right? Just like Google. That's why businesses show up sometimes, but not really consistently. It's not broken, just incomplete, right? It's like a building that's not all the way done. And incomplete kind of makes you invisible, right? This is the audit, AI search audit, right? This is kind of where the system comes in. It scans everything that matters. Very simple. What it covers, basically AI visibility, website schema, citations, authority, reviews, content. So it's basically looking for all the signals the AI is looking for. But it's not just data, right? It shows where money is actually kind of basically being lost. That's the big difference. Then it builds a roadmap, right? It builds a roadmap. The roadmap is step by step in order with priorities. So there's really no guessing, only really execution. Now, this part is critical, right? So these are the things, positioning that you don't want to say. You don't say this to the businesses. We fix SEO. You don't say we improve rankings. Say this instead. You're losing customers because AI doesn't consistently trust your business yet. It's different language. And the report literally shows that. It demonstrates and show the report, right? Let the report do the work. This creates that moment of, oh shit, I'm totally missing out on something. That moment equals the sale, right? Your job is not to explain everything. That's like the last thing you want to do. Your job is to point to the gaps, tied to lost customers. Then the roadmap is what you sell. The roadmap is so crucial, not the audit, not the tool. It's literally the execution of the roadmap. It shows what to fix, in what order, and why it matters, right? This is ongoing because you have to constantly do it. So this is like the best thing on the planet. You can charge high-end reoccurring fees for it. Not a one-time work. Yes, you do have to do a bunch of one-time work, but that's why you charge a massive setup fee. Because AI is basically always learning, right? Stop feeding it, then you basically just disappear again. It's the same thing as Google. It's just different. So here's the model. Set up $2,000 to $5,000 minimum. Like, I mean, honestly, it depends on your niche and stuff like that, but I'd probably be, $39.95 at bare minimum. And if it's a more competitive niche, so, we would definitely go up in value on that. And the reason why you have to have this setup is because of what you have, and that's what's so crucial about the roadmap. The roadmap shows the work. I remember when I was doing local SEO back in the day, and I'd always have a setup fee between $2,000 and $5,000. And basically, on my proposals, it would show the setup and then the ongoing, just exactly how the roadmap does. That was my proposal, basically, because I'm like, look, this is what we do the first 30 days. And that's why I have to charge you this, because look at this massive amount of work that we have to do because all this shit's broken. And then once that's all set up and we have the foundation now, we've got to feed it on a monthly basis. So we have to charge you X because we're doing these things. And it's a very clear thing to understand from a business owner to be able to kind of go down that path, to understand why there's a setup fee and why you're charging on a monthly basis. And you're not selling tasks. That's not what you're doing. You're selling visibility, consistency, and revenue. If they get 2 to 3 new customers, you win. And it doesn't matter if it's coming from Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini. It's just getting more customers. And the crazy part about this is this roadmap is SEO on steroids. So you're going to help them rank higher on Google flat out no matter what happens. And then with this consistency you're doing, they're going to start showing up in the LLMs, more consistency and all that type of stuff. So their traffic's just going to naturally go up. They're going to see more customers, all that fun stuff, which makes this really, really easy to justify. It's a simple close, right? Here's where you're losing customers, the report. Here's what needs to be fixed. Fix it, the roadmap. We handle everything. Setup is X plus $9.97 a month. Then stop talking. That's what I always do. This is one of the easiest services you're ever going to sell. Use the auto, follow the roadmap, charge correctly. So many agencies don't ask for the sell. I am so basic when I do this type of stuff that I just go through my demo, my presentation, max 10, max 15 minutes, because there's no need to actually do it more than that, right? So yeah, it's a very, 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 very simple concept. You guys see that? So Katie, I don't know where you put these links in. So basically, I built a bunch of stuff for you guys, and we're not going to go over this in detail because it's pretty much self-explanatory. And if you guys ever have like issues, like this is what I make my daughter do. So like, I'm teaching my daughter how to do all this fun stuff that I do for a living. Right now, she's doing this guerrilla marketing thing for boyfriend, which I'll probably roll out as a training at some point because it's really effective. Um, and basically, I created a full-blown like implementation doc for her, which is very similar to what this is. And she was like, "Well, I don't understand." And so I'm like, take the doc, dump it back into ChatGPT, and have it ask you questions, and you have it walk you through it. So if you guys get stuck, lost, or anything like that, leverage AI for documenting content you already have and have it explain it to you because it's going to do a better job than I'm going to explain it to you. But this is basically your AI search audit agency SOP that you're wanting to go through of the process to understand everything, all of that type of stuff, how to prep for the call, how to run the call structure, all those types of things when you're actually doing the presentation, which is very crucial to understand all of this. So you'll just want to go through this in great detail. Then I actually created the 10-minute perfect. And then this is literally, it has the script in it, everything for how you guys do this. Super simple. It walks you through how to do the presentation, what to say, how to say it, all that kind of fun stuff, what things to use where. It's very, very simple and very, very straightforward. And again, if you ever have issues, dump it into ChatGPT or Claude, whichever AI that you use, to have it help you. And then I also included some of these sales objection handlers, so you know that you can utilize and leverage and understand. And I just kind of gave the most common ones, which that you can go through and just understand. And so, just this is like the framework. Like this is how you would go about selling it. This is how you go about fulfilling it. This is how you go about doing all those types of things. So I don't even know where I'm at. Jesus. I don't even know how questions are flagged in this thing, so I'm like super confused. Um, I don't even know how. I guess maybe
The
it looks like a
questions,
blue.
I'm flagging
Yeah.
them red. So do you see how they're like turning
Oh.
red
Oh,
on the
that's
Zoom?
interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm so sorry.
I know.
They should have gave us
Um,
like more warning than just
I mean, I saw notifications that they were going to do it, but I was
not
like,
like
I
this.
thought, I thought, I thought I had the choice. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I'll figure it out. Let me just log into something. So I wanted to kind of show you guys some things inside of here. Um, Zoom sharing. So this is basically one of my demo accounts as well. The AI reports. I want to walk you through the customer. So the customers tab. So this is like basically where all the stuff resides. And I did do an update to the roadmap. But I'm gonna actually I need to look at it again to make sure that everything is in there that needs to be in there. But basically, what I did to the roadmap is I fed in a bunch of services that I use to implement this stuff for me. And so those services now will be in the roadmap. The business doesn't see it, like the public roadmap doesn't see it, but it has instructions on what you do. So now it's giving you step-by-step instructions where you're doing it, data aggregator. Like, this is where you would order the data aggregator. It literally has a link. So, like, for example, whenever I get a new customer and we're doing this kind of work for them, one of the first things I do is order the data aggregator. Now, if you guys don't know what a data aggregator is, you can just ask Google or ask ChatGPT. But basically, you're submitting the business information and business name, address, phone number, and website, that type of stuff, to the aggregators. And then the aggregators are the ones that cycle all that information down into the Yelps. That's where they're getting all those information into all those citations and all those types of everything. Um, And so inside of the audit roadmap, we've integrated all of those types of things. So, it's basically doing everything and telling you how to do all that type of stuff, and what you're supposed to do. We even have in here, order the citations. We have a company that I use, that I've used for years. It does a great job. So everything's built in here for what you need to do. I still need to go through it all, each one of them individually, and make sure that it is generating the actual things properly, based off of what my experience and expertise is in doing this for 15 years. Um, so that's really this is like the crucial part that makes this so much more powerful versus, we're going to do this for you. Um, and this right here, I know some people are like, freaking out that, well, I can't spend that much time on one customer. That's if you were to do all this stuff manually, right? I mean, that's AI estimating it. But we don't do any of the work. We outsource everything. I've never had an internal team that handle these kind of stuff because it's all like ditch digging, right? The only time we have internal teams that do stuff is maybe content for the website or a press release, all that type of stuff. So we try to make sure that all of the things that you're doing for the customer are either done with the software you already own, like the schema builder, the FAQs, or you're outsourcing it to a white label SEO agency that can perform the tasks for you, or the reputation agency software, all that different type of things. So um, that type of thing. Bruce says, idea, add in one more layer, voice search for Alexa Siri. I don't really know what you mean by that. um, PJ Kruger says, I ran a report, then created it as a customer. I see the roadmap is not created automatically. Is there a reason for that? I yeah, because I don't want to. If you don't want to create, the roadmap, you don't have to. Basically, that will slow down the whole entire process. So we don't create the roadmap, we don't create the schema, we don't create the FAQs. You have to press the buttons to do all that type of stuff. None of it's done automatically, and that's so you can regenerate it. I mean, there's no real reason. Mike Morales says, what agencies do you recommend to white label? It's actually built into there. It's built into the roadmap. It will literally give you links to the places that I use. So you'll see it in there. And if you want to do it to the other places, that's not a big deal. You can do it to wherever you want. Oh my God. Paul says, is it okay to sell this as AI visibility suggestion and SEO? This is SEO. I mean, the thing about it is SEO really does help the AI search. It just has different, it does additional things, like it likes to reference mentions and brand identity, consistency. So it's being trained on data, like press releases and mentions, and this, that, and the other thing, all that type of stuff. So this roadmap is basically really dialing in the SEO technical stuff and will naturally do rankings on Google because everything you're doing in it is the exact signals that Google uses. So yes. Someone says, if we go over 100 reports in a month, what happens? Does 101 person get an error message? We'll notify you. The software, basically, when you start getting up to those points, will notify you, and then you can upgrade into a package that can allow you to have more of those. Someone says, Dr. Steve, I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm doing. Is there a way for the report to use a more local keyword in the query tested? Right now, it's taking the entire city versus the zip code, so it's bringing in things outside of that. Just send a ticket to support@molomedia.com, and we can look through it. This is by far my biggest challenge right now. And I was actually working on it this morning, to because I'm seeing inconsistencies in the results. So I'm just messing with the prompting significantly. So I was playing with it this morning. I have not pushed it out. I'm literally just forcing the AI to do it the way I want it to be done until I get the results that I'm looking for, knowing that I know what it is. So I'm working on that and sending a ticket in regards to that. Um, Steve says Zoom webinar is way better. Yeah, I'm probably going to move over to that, to be honest with you. Um, this is a total pain in the ass. Uh, Donald, can you send in a ticket? He says, when I use a map listing to run a report, it's giving me the totally wrong businesses. Again, everything was working this morning, and I made some updates, and I think I broke something on that, but I can fix that. We had to jump on this call, so I have to do it after this call. And I think it's just literally only for like entering the Google URL. I don't know what it is. I haven't checked on it yet. But yeah, we'll get that taken care of right after this call, for you. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm literally losing my mind here. Um, Connie says, will we need to do the press releases or the software do it? Yeah, you have to do the press releases. That's external. The software doesn't do it. But basically, it tells you what to do. It's really simple on that. This is so funny that press releases like this are coming back in, because back in the day when I had lots and lots and lots of customers, we would do press releases all the time because it did such a good job of getting citations out there and brand identity. It was kind of a way to hack Google. Google did pick up on it a little bit and started not showing it. I don't really know what they do, but this is really for the LLMs, to get there. But there's just services that go out there and do that for you, to get it all taken care of. Scott says, what about fulfillment? I did a test on a business, 11 hours the first week, 22 hours the second. I don't see any links to providers in the roadmap. You'll probably have to regenerate it, the roadmap itself. We just added that like a day ago. So if you haven't ran one recently, and then I'm going to go through the roadmap again in great detail, um, to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing and it's not hallucinating at all. Because this is where AI. So basically, AI is running the audit, right? AI is pulling all the data through scrapers, APIs, all kinds of fun places. It's scraping the website, scraping all these different, directories, all that kind of fun stuff. Then it's pulling it into a report, and it's like, okay, this is what the report is. And then when you run the roadmap, it's actually pulling directly off the audit. So the roadmap going to be different every time, but it's doing the same thing, if that makes any kind of sense. You're not going to have to alter what you do, because it's the roadmap is consistent. It's just it's filling in the holes, week 1 through 4. That's kind of like what I would consider my local setup, like local SEO setup. That's kind of the roadmap, that beginning part. And I use service providers for all that. So like when I was doing this heavily, I basically this roadmap, I've had this for 20 years, but it was very similar to this, because this is what I would do for all my local SEO customers and how to get them to rank so well, is because I did basically what the LLMs want now. It's kind of crazy. It's super bizarre. And that was, I've taken it to a whole nother level. But this makes it so much easier for me because AI is putting that all together. It knows what it needs to be done on the backside because it already has that from the report. Someone says, how do you suggest we explain the difference between keyword search in Google to how we have to set it up in your system if we want to recommendations to come from 12 cities and from 8 zip codes, as an example? I don't really understand what you mean by that question. And again, this is if I think I know what you're saying, you're wanting the LLMs to maybe recommend the business in other cities or zip codes. So if that's the case, that's where you really are having to create very detailed service pages, service area pages. And so if you're trying to expand it out because it's a service area business, every single zip code and city should have an extremely deep content and keywords and all of that with FAQs for that service area and a link to that and in the sitemap and all those types of things. Because the LLMs will pick up on that. I learned this from one of my friends that is the one that charges a shit ton of money. Not a shit ton, just kind of normal, $3,000 to $5,000 a month for this. And he has a national business. And that's what he did for every location. And it's just, it's just good, high quality content with the keywords and all that stuff in there and very specific. And it's pulling in the LLMs left and right for those locations itself. So that's why I know that's how you have to do it. So, if you have a business that's like, for example, like Nico's business is the Gig Harbor car detailing, I'm having to revamp that whole fucking site. I don't want to, but I am. Because, I got him ranking really good in Gig Harbor, but not that consistent in the LLMs. Like I just searched yesterday and he was number one as the primary recommendation. I searched again this morning. He didn't show up. I was like, God, it's because I have weak, thin content. I was only caring about Google at the time and thinking that I could just do bare minimum for the LLMs and he would get it there. So, but that, those LLMs change so rapidly, but I know what they want now. And so I'm having to build out individual service area pages. I'm having to build out service pages themselves, about us, all those types of things so that the site's way more robust. I mean, it's got perfect schema. It's got perfect everything else. It just needs to be a little bit bulkier. So I'm building that right now, actually, as we speak. Bruce says the roadmap calls for schema on every page of the website. I thought we only did the schema on the homepage. You're only supposed to do schema, the main schema for the business on the homepage. I'll have to go and review that. Again, AI can hallucinate at times. So I was making major updates to the roadmap and it probably hallucinated when doing that because AI is the one that's using the roadmap. Let me look at this. No, it tells you replace on the homepage. I'll probably get more specific language in there so that you're very clear. Yeah. So it shows on there. So that is, and just, if you guys basically, if something looks amiss, you might want to just update the roadmap because I'm tweaking it all the time until I get it like perfectly dialed. Steve says, does the roadmap list someone you recommend to do each of every steps? It tells you, hey, use this software, which could be internal, or it says, hey, use this service, and it'll tell you which one. And these are services that I've all used in the past, so it's not like I like them. Like for example, the manual citation creation. I don't even know where that's at. Oh, there we go. Add more manual citations. So this is Citation Builder Group. I've always used them in the past. They're really good. I've been using them for as long as I can remember. And they're, oh, did it? I'm gonna close it out, sorry. So yeah, they have the instruction in there. And it even tells you, what to do and all that type of stuff. So it's pretty to the point where you just follow it step by step. And again, the roadmap will change per business, but you're always doing the exact same shit. Like literally, you're always doing the same thing. Add schema, add FAQs, better content, press release, citations, reviews, respond to reviews. I mean, it's basic stuff. It's like the exact same thing all the time, but it looks different every time, if that makes sense. Because a business may already have some stuff, but you're just basically doing the same thing every time. Connie says, any idea what our monthly spend per client would be of all those services? No clue. That's why you're going to have to go through them all to do all that type of stuff. But I mean, that's why you charge a setup fee. because where your spend is going to be, you got to get the data aggregators, you got to get the citations, you got to get this, you got to do the press release. So you're doing massive amount of work up front to get the foundation built, and then the monthly work is like not expensive. Like it's actually not much at all because you use the tools. Like you're going to use Repu Agency to respond to the AI, to the reviews via using AI. You're going to use that to post the reviews onto Facebook and all that type of stuff. You're gonna use all that automated. The only real thing that you're doing that's a kind of like a not a manual thing is you do want to do the press release, but you just pay for that and around a specific subject or whatever it is. And then, you want to put that onto, the website. I need to review that part. I might have to do some additional training on that because there is a structure around the press release strategy, but that'll only take me like 10 minutes to actually do. Because basically you want to update the schema with some stuff of where the press release is for a same as. Um, and obviously you guys aren't doing any of this yet, so I'll have that done here really shortly. Because these press releases, the good ones, it's your brand identity. That's what these LLMs will pick up on, and all of those massive amounts of citations everywhere, then all those service pages, then all of that content, and all of those types of things. It's really giving them that that indication that this is the primary brand that we want to promote on the LLMs. And you can start digging into this. Like, you know, I want you guys to leverage AI to learn about this stuff. Like, be like, because it's a different way that people search. Like, it could be, hey, I need a plumber that can handle a tankless hot water heater in Gig Harbor. So if that's a big thing for that business, you want to make sure that there's fucking content around that search term, that weird hyper specific, because the LLMs, that's what they're looking for. Then they're going to be like, hey, well, I saw Gig Harbor Plumbing. They have very specific information and focus on that, but it's just on their service page, right? Because this is where things so basically I got lazy when I was doing local SEO, and I was doing thinner and thinner pages with just basic stuff because I didn't care, because I could get Google to rank them through other indicators. Now it's completely back to the opposite. Like if there's a plumber and they do tankless water heaters, it's really important to write some very good content on that. And so that's why you guys can charge so much more on this setup and then on the ongoing. And that's kind of the key around this whole thing. You're gonna have to learn how to do shit. Like none of this is push button. Like this is where the big boys make the money, right? I mean, you can easily charge $2,500 a month for this stuff, easily. And guess how many customers you need at $2,500 to be a million? I can't even speak. How many you need? Anybody? Can you guess? Anybody? I don't know where these questions are. In order to be $1 million a year agency on a reoccurring basis, you only need 34 customers at $2,500 a month. Do you know how easy it is to get 20 or 34 customers at $2,500 a month? Not very hard, but you got to be confident. You got to be able to deliver. It's literally that simple. If you break things down a little bit differently, right? It looks a lot more obtainable. How often do you do press releases? Once a month, and it should be in there. It's already in the thingamajobber, in the roadmap. Andrew says, please do that for the PR. Will you guys, Katie, will you make sure you're taking notes and make sure that I build out a structure? I already have it. It's just not in the software. I'll probably just do it on the Google Doc so that the software doesn't get all freaking confused. I'll just do it on a Google Doc, like what the structure and strategy is behind it. Because I did that. It was in the MD file, but I don't think the AI it's hallucinating a little bit on some stuff. So I'll kind of have supporting docs behind things that are like what you should do. Like, post it on the blog, link it to the main PR, put it in as the same as, put it on Facebook. Like, you want to just do that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, I digress. Brian says, I'd be happy with $250,000 a year. Okay, let's do the math. What's 250,000 divided by if you only charge in 997? That's a lot of customers. That's 250. So guess what? You do the exact same amount of work for a $25 or a $5,000 a month customer as you do for a $997 a month customer. Identical. You may do a little bit more for the higher end one if it's because it's a competitive area, but it's really just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, getting in and getting it all done. So that's not a lot. I mean, yeah. Paul says 5K, 2 to 5K set up for the first 4 weeks of work. Yep. Because you see what you're doing. They don't know that it's all automated, right? I mean, or, through services. But I mean, I never had a problem getting that as a fee. Also, you guys might have to rebuild the website. Know that when you're doing these, like when you're reviewing them, if it's a shitty website on Wix or something and it's not fast and all that type of stuff, you have an opportunity to charge even more to rebuild their website. So this is just getting your conversation started and your roadmap. What other services you sell on top of that, it's up to you. But this roadmap does include like reputation. This roadmap does include like citations. This roadmap does include content that you have to create and build. But at least it tells you what to do. It's not like rocket science. It's like, do this. Make sure the page has more content on it. Blah, blah, blah. This is really, I don't like this new thing, by the way. This new, I'm not a fan of this new go-to thing at all. Oh my God. Someone just told me there's a timer showing the top counting down, and now about 12 minutes remaining. We'll go to shut down. I don't know. I can pause timer. We're pausing timer. I mean, we started at noon. I can do math pretty easily. I'm just going through the questions. Ron says, how do customers see or measure their ROI on all this work we're doing for them? There's a lot of different ways you can do that. I mean, again, you guys have to become basically like marketers. I hate to say this, but you have to become local marketers and you should have to know how to do this stuff, right? Like you should know that like I shouldn't have to teach you that you should put Google Analytics on the website and be able to track traffic. I shouldn't have to teach you that you need to look at their Google business profile, see how many calls they got last month, and see how many calls they got this month. I mean, the tracking part is dead simple. If you're doing like for actual SEO, I shouldn't teach you, or I shouldn't have to train you that you should be tracking rankings. You just use a software, I think local tracker or something like that. It isn't very expensive, and it just does grid tracking for you, right? You also can, you can rerun the audits to try and get closer and closer to 100. And again, it's gotta pick this stuff up. So you can do all those types of things, and that's how I always track the ROI. Do you have a service to build websites at NetEngine? You could send in a ticket to support. We do have some people that do that. We've already, so yes, we can have someone do that. So just send the ticket to support at molomedia.com and Katie can get you that information. Tracy says, can you review the pay gate part and what is available for the prospect to see before purchasing a full report? we have full training on that, so I'm gonna just refer back to the training on it. But basically, I've set it all up in the thing in the what? Excuse me, in the strat in the payments over here, the dollar figure, and then uh, all of this content you can change, and then in the AI report settings, you basically turn it on down here and then they will see it. So all the settings are in there, and basically when they actually run the report, it's literally going to say the copy of whatever you adjust, and when they enter their information, takes them to a Stripe hosted page, and then once they pay, it goes right back to the report unlocked, and they just see the report grayed out or blurred out just a little bit. But I won't go through all that, so you guys can go through the training on that. It's pretty simple. Um, I'm sorry, this is not like easy. Andrew says, are you going to put in an API so you can link to our autoresponder? We already have that. It's a webhook right here. So you can enable the webhook. Um, and webhooks work for pretty much everything. So almost all CRMs, autoresponders have webhook integration. I probably could build an API integration as well. So, if that webhook doesn't work, let me know and we can build what you need for wherever you're sending your stuff to. John says, can we set up both a free and paywall audit that are active at the same time so we can send someone to other? Send in a ticket to support at molomedia.com. I'll see how easy or hard that is. Shouldn't be that hard. I don't want to promise you anything. Yeah. Again, guys, this is built on AI, so I can literally make updates in just really fast with our developer, because our developer's not coding. The developer is the AI. John says, "Are we always gated from the report?" No. Like if you want to create a report for a customer, you can ungate it or gate it right in here. So when you want to run it for one of your own customers or someone wants a report, you can just create the new report. And since you know who they are, you can ungate it. I think this one's like, it says ungated. So I'll gate this one, then view it. And it says gated. And if I, well, there you go. It's 97 bucks 1 month. So it's on there. Let's ungate it. Refresh it. There it is. So yeah, you can ungate reports. Someone asked, Don says, would there be a way to delete any items from the roadmap if we didn't want to do those? I actually send that into its support. When I was going through it, I was like, I need a delete button and I also need an add button. So I was gonna build that anyways. So yeah, go ahead and send that in there so that you can, do it that way. I mean, there's a lot of different things I could have in there. I don't know what I don't know yet. I'm gonna keep playing with it over the next week or so. Dr. Steve, can you send in a ticket to support? I don't think that would be very hard. Basically, he's wanting to create a coupon code, but basically they opt in, but then get it for free. I don't know. Send in a ticket so I can understand exactly what that is. I could see that maybe working. Not really sure. Can a specific report be embedded into a page? I work with a couple pages. I don't really, John Gennario, I don't really understand that question. If you could maybe reword it or send in a ticket to support with a detailed explanation from AI, if you don't know how to explain it, that would be great. Okay. I don't know how far ahead or behind I am with any of this stuff. I don't understand how this thing works. Uh, Ken K, I don't understand your questions. How to overcome resistance from their current agency? I don't know what that means. Shouldn't this include Google Business Profile Management? Again, go through all that stuff. This is all changing your terminology, and you're not selling SEO. You're selling something different. But it is SEO. I know that sounds ass backwards. It's I would, if, let's just put it this way. I was probably ahead of my times. This is what I did for all of my customers when I was doing full blown SEO for dentists. Literally. And it's the exact same thing that AI needs. Freaking weird. I was smarter than I realized. John Vaughn says it would be good if we could toggle off some of the idea things on the report. Yeah, do that. Send in a ticket because it's probably better to toggle them off versus delete them. That's good, good call. It's AEO, answer engine optimization. I hate that fucking term because it's confusing. I mean, it's the worst. Like business doesn't know that. I'd rather just call it AI search optimization. I mean, that's like that terms. I know that the industry's using it right now. Well, the businesses don't use it. I would go to ChatGPT or Claude and ask it what terms should I use for these types of businesses that will understand this. Because if business ain't gonna understand what the frick AEO is, sorry, I digress. But that's the truth. Go to the lowest common denominator, which is typically me. Andrew says AI engine optimization. People get it. Do whatever you can explain easy. You guys, I use AI for all this shit. I mean, when I'm trying to figure out some things, I just work with my AI. My AI is super trained, both on Claude and Gemini. Like I have so much in its memory, it's insane. I haven't really got into Perplexity yet. I probably should try to play with them. Gennario, I mean, you can just take all the branding off your report that has no branding on it. You just delete the stuff. I never thought about that. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. People always come up with the weirdest things that I don't even think I think about. Horace says, what is your experience? Do customers take the info from their report to their existing agency? Of course they will. Jesus Christ. They're literally going to be like, hey, why haven't we done all this shit? I typically stay, so this is how I've always managed things. I don't steal customers from other agencies. Like basically I'll be, because a quality agency, the way I used to work is I made them sign fucking contracts. Like you are working with me for a year. I hate to say it because I'm not doing this for 3 months and you quit because there's so much effort in the beginning that takes time for it to go through. And if they gave me pushback, I'd be bare minimum 6 months. And so usually most agencies have contracts, especially if they're with those bigger houses, they definitely have contracts. So what happens naturally and normally when you're getting a customer, I'm not ever trying to usually steal a customer from another agency. The only time I am if they've moved on from the contract and they're on month by month because they're upset because they didn't get the results that they were promised and now they're looking for somebody else. Or they fired that person and they don't know what to do because all agencies are fucking shitty and they just steal money from businesses and don't actually do the proper work. Sorry if I said that out loud. So I'm very like if they have a contract and they're with somebody, I'm like I'm not even gonna mess with them. I'm like you're not. I mean they're not gonna break it, but like you just have to look. You have to feel it out, your personal feeling. But if they are working with an agency already and they don't have a contract, they're definitely going to show it to the agency because they're going to be like, hey, why haven't you done all this shit? And that agency is going to come back and be like, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about. It's just, because they're going to protect themselves, whatever. That's why I love this report because it's all technical-ish. Ish. So Ken says, how to overcome resistance from their current agency. I mean, if someone is doing their SEO, they might already have their own way of doing schema. Well, if it's not right, then it's not right. This is AI saying whether their schema is right based off of a very, very specific standard on schema.org. It's like taxes. There's a tax code. You either follow it or don't. Or it's like there's obviously gray area, but this is literally so if their version of the schema, it may work, but it may not be the right kind. That makes sense. I don't freaking know. Sorry, my daughter was texting me, and she's going skiing, so I'm just making sure she got there. Donald said schema isn't an opinion. No, it's not. Very specific. Will says, had to drop in the middle, so not sure if I missed it. On mobile, I can't see the menu bar to get to the customer's reports. This is not like super mobile enabled. This is really designed for you to use on the desktop. So yeah, I guess I don't really have an answer for you. Okay, I don't know if I've answered. Nope, I found another one. Is there a way to delete reports we ran? I have no idea. I don't know. Thought so. I could be wrong. No, doesn't look like it. I think you only can delete these ones. I don't freaking know. Yeah, you can delete the leads, but not the AI reports. Just edit a ticket. I can fix that real quick. That's easy to do. So if I haven't answered your question, that means I buried it. So re-ask it again. Steve says, what are some of the ways you would go about getting those 34 customers? You pick a niche, you pick a city, and you freaking reach out to every single one of them until someone signs up. Literally, that's simple. I grew my agency from like zero to like, I don't know, probably three, four, $500,000 in like 90 days when I started this. That's all I did. If I had, if I lost like everything that I have, right? And I needed to go and build a business, and because I would probably do this. But I build software, so I love software. That's my problem. But if I was going to do agency work, just like say, for example, exactly what we have here, which I'm teaching my daughter to do, and blah, 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 blah. That's why shit's all being built. Because I'm actually not building my own agency. My daughter's building hers. So I'm building it how I would build it now because of the AI. But basically, if I had to go out there and get customers, I would pick a niche that's a service, like some sort of a on-demand service, aka a dentist. You have to freaking go there. A plumber, you need them. HVAC, like whatever it is that you have to use, no matter what the hell happens in your financial world, and doesn't go away. I would pick that specific niche, especially if I would try to be one that I knew about, build my branding all around that, and then go pick a city that had 50 to 70,000 residential people living in it, and reach out to every single one of those businesses that show up on Google over and over and over again until I got one to show up for a meeting and then close one. That's what I would do. I'd do that 4 times in a row. Really not rocket science, but you got to put the effort in. People always ask me that. Strangest thing in the world. I'm like, what do you mean? You do absolutely nothing until you get someone to sign up with you. And if you're comfortable, I don't meet people in person. Um, the only other way I do it, like if you have no problem meeting people in person, go to your local, pick your niche in your local area, and go to every single one of those and drop off, I don't know, cookies, coffee, fuck, whatever, donuts, and a flyer until one signs up. I don't know. I mean, it's the simplest thing on the planet. You get in front of the person you're wanting to sell to, and you don't stop until they say yes or to go to hell. I mean, does that make sense to you guys? Like, do you understand how simple that is? Would you take more than one client in a niche in a city? Um, I used to have an exclusivity clause that I would charge them a little bit more, and if they didn't, I would do a max of two. That's really your comfort level. I personally don't like competing with myself, so I didn't really do that. I wouldn't like bring on more. I never really, once I got one, I would kind of just move on. Um, yeah. Sorry, my daughter's texting me. My daughter's stuck in San Diego, and so she's 19. She's with her boyfriend. Long story short, certain plans fell through, so I ended up having to fly her home, but not till this Friday. So she needed to get a hotel. And you know what I hate? I just don't understand this. You can literally die for your country at 18, but you can't rent a hotel on your own. You can, but you have to find the right one until you're 21. It's like so messed up. And so she informed us of all this last night. And so my wife scrambled to find, and well, they actually, my daughter did too, and they found one and blah, blah, blah. And she booked it and they all that type of stuff. But I digress. Sorry. So I'm dealing with that. That's why I can be distracted, just making sure one, my daughter got to the mountain, and my other daughter got a hotel because she has no place to stay. She's not going home till Friday. Oh, interesting world I live in, I swear. So Scott says, I guess I missed the 100 report limit. When you are prospecting and running reports, right? 100 reports won't go far. If you can get into, I mean, that's 100 reports a month. That means you are running a report for 3 people per day. So if you're getting in front of 3 people per day, I don't think you have to worry about anything unless you really suck at closing. I hate to say that. Um, sorry. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't get your point. Um, I wouldn't be, so one of the things that was, do not just run random reports and send them to people. That makes no sense whatsoever. You need to engage with them before they give you permission. That's like trying to marry them on the first date. That is not the way to do it. That you will fail. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't run reports until people want to report after they understand what I'm doing. David says, where do you have the vendors that you can use for the services? They're in the roadmap. You may have to regenerate it. I'll have Katie pull out the vendors and put it in a Google Doc and link it somewhere in the training so that you can see them, and I'll expand it as I go. I use a lot of different ones. I just put the ones on it that I primarily use. So hopefully that makes some kind of sense at all. Scott says, I thought it was total. Sorry. No, it's 100 customers total, but 100 reports a month. So yeah. But if you have 100 customers, you're doing 7+ figures. So yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that either. Mike says, do you get on a Zoom call to show a presentation to a potential customer or make a video and send them? You guys are selling higher ticket now. You need to get on a call with them, or you're not going to close them. No one's going to sign up with a video and pay you that kind of money. I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you're that good. Nico says, do you have any idea how to do this business from Austria to America? Yeah, exactly what I just told you. I have not met a customer in person for like 25 years. And there's no need to meet a customer in person for anything. It's a waste of everybody's time. So you can do anything from anywhere. It's the whole point of all this fun stuff. Steve says, what are you saying to the process to get them interested? You don't show up in AI search like ChatGPT or Perplexity. I mean, whatever you're fucking selling. If you're selling reviews, hey, you don't have enough reviews. XYZ competitor has 150 more than you. I mean, I don't like what you're selling is what you say. Hey, you don't show up in search on the or consistently in their things, and there's a reason why. Would you like to know about it? Sorry if I'm being an asshole. Don't mean to be. Um, Someone says, outside of adding a how did you hear from us question on the form, how are you showing a lead came from an LLM? I ask as the provider lead generation form services, SEO local search, which is trackable through UTM and web forms, etc., but not sure how to measure and show leads revenue gain from AEO. Well, if you search like from here, I can show you. ChatGPT. I don't even know if it's gonna work, so I'll figure out. I need a good car detailer in Gig Harbor. Oh, I hate it when they do multiple responses. So freaking annoying. So now Nico shows up number 2. It just makes no freaking sense. I mean, no, it makes perfect sense. I just gotta do it. Oh my God, seriously? I prefer this one. Yes, because Nico's there. So then, where's my URL? There we go. UTM right there. It shows the UTM, right? Contact. That form will pick up the UTM. That's like not, I mean, you do have to know what you're doing, but the UTM's always come from where it's coming from. Make sense? So that's pretty clear. And you also can see referral traffic from their analytics. You can see where shit comes from. Katie says, I missed the first half. Can you give me an idea how many hours it'll take the first month to set up a customer and that you're charging 99 per month for, along with a setup fee of 15 to 2,500? I mean, it shouldn't take you very much time at all because you're paying for services to do it. That's why I charge a setup fee. and you can rewatch the training, but all of the things are done like through a tool or through a paid service. So it shouldn't really, I mean, a couple hours a week max each week. Not bad. Just like we told you earlier. William Martin says, is it correct to assume you show a sample report in your pitch? No, I do their report. If I'm not going to do anything until I can get in front of somebody. I mean, so you've got to learn how to date them before you marry them. So you have to get to know them. You have to go. That's why I'm like one niche, one city. Just keep talking to them, keep going after them until you get someone to be like, hey, you know what, you bugged the hell out of me, and that is really interesting. You know, you're like, hey, would you like to get on a quick 10, 15-minute call? I can show you. No harm, no foul. Like, I don't know how to make it more simple. That's all you do. And then you run the report and you do the 15-minute presentation and you ask for the money and shut up. Basically how simple it is. I'm not overcomplicating it because it isn't complicating. It's like really simple. I don't know what I got going on. Warren's adding on to it. Oh, I know all about the freaking car rental thing. Jeez, that's a pain in the ass. But I figured out how to get around it. You can do it through Turo, and they'll do it under 18. But they charge you. The Airbnb even does the same freaking thing. It's so annoying. Um, Joe says, you mentioned earlier about creating pages for service-based businesses, and it wasn't clear. Do we put separate FAQs for each town and schema for that page? No, you don't. The schema goes on the homepage for everything, and it will actually have your schema should have the service areas in there. It will auto-generate that for you. Then you want to create specific service area pages for each service area they do, and you don't put schema on there, the local schema. You just put the FAQ schema on there, and then have really high quality content and lots of it per customer. A couple hours a week per customer shouldn't be very. And you're doing the same thing over and over again. All you're doing is ordering services. I mean, honestly, DA could do all this crap for you. All right. Rob says, question, my challenge is when a new customer shows up in Gemini and ChatGPT, yet the report says they are not shown. I wouldn't even worry about that. I'm actually probably going to give you an option to turn it off. You get different results at different times, at different ages, different stuff. So it is all over the board, and I'm really honestly working with all of the ones right now to really fix a lot of that stuff. But I don't really focus on that. It doesn't even matter if they do or don't. And it's really all the technical things. So that's like the last thing that I really care about. And if they say they don't, the first thing you say is like, yeah, well, AI search results are super inconsistent. And so when we ran it, you probably didn't show up at that moment, but it could have showed up 5 minutes before. But you can see all your competitors are right there. I mean, flip it around and be like, well, what we do is we are fixing all of your holes so that you start showing up very consistently. That's like the easiest spin on the planet. You actually kind of don't want them to show up, so you could actually say that. And send in a ticket to support. What time is it? It's 1:20. I have another meeting here shortly that I think I'm just going to go through. David, you can look. David's asking about demo of the services vendors. That's in the roadmap, so you'll have to watch the replay, I guess. mean, it's literally in the roadmap. It's pretty self-explanatory. Katie says, when you said a couple of hours per week, is that per customer to deliver on the goods monthly? Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, you do have to do work if someone's paying you. I hate to say it. Mark says, with all the issues you were identifying earlier, when is your estimation will AI search audit be in good working order? It's in perfect working order. I'm just struggling with, I'm trying to figure out through the APIs for all the different search ones to be as consistent as possible. The thing does everything it's supposed to do. It works perfectly. So I'm sorry if I said it incorrectly. And the only other issue is maybe like, creating a report from the back end with the SAB. So I don't know what that problem is. So if I'm selling the report but want to walk them through it, do you see immediate? Once they pay for it, they get to see it immediately. If someone's paying for a report, they're most likely going to want to have a meeting with you, so I wouldn't even worry about that. Um, that looks like that's the last question. All right. Well, I don't know how this works. So it says it's recording. If it's not recording, that's a problem. We won't know until we know. And if it didn't record, that means I'll probably have to re-record stuff manually. But hopefully this was recorded and we can get it out there. But I really appreciate all you guys. Please send in a ticket to support@mobilemedia.com if you have any questions or feature requests or whatever it may be. Again, I'll be doing some enhancements on the product and all that. And I know there was an issue with running a report for an SAB. I will fix that and get that done, even though that's all internal, so it doesn't really matter. Um, so yeah, hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I don't even know what day it is. It's Tuesday? Oh, it's Wednesday. And just reach out to us at support@molomedia.com if you guys have any questions. If not, we'll get this training. Maybe I don't even know. I did a very poor job with structure on this one because of the GoToWebinar just fiasco. So thanks again, guys, and I will talk to you all soon.